Well, mortgage owners are facing increased costs after the RBA lifted interest rates for a 10th straight month yesterday. There will be more to come, but perhaps there will be a pause next month as the RBA governor waits to see how the dust settles. Joining us now from Canberra is the Deputy Opposition Leader, Sussan Ley. Sussan, good to see you. Thanks for your time. So Governor Lowe, he seemed to soften his tone after that 10th straight hike yesterday. So in your view, from what you've been able to read and surmise, is the end in sight?
Well, Pete, the Reserve Bank is doing its job. The problem is that the government is not. Now, if you consider that an average family is now paying $20,000 a year more on their mortgage than they were in May, that gives you a sense, it gives us all a sense of the very real pain that this last rate increase has given to so many Australian families. And, you know, I sat opposite the Prime Minister in Parliament yesterday and excuse after excuse came out of his mouth. And I just said to him, you look like you've given up. There was no reassurance. There was no plan for inflation. There was just this sort of helpless, hopeless, it's international factors. And yes, he did say that Australians were doing it tough. They already know they're doing it tough. What they're looking for is a plan on inflation. OK, but when it comes to, you know, helping cost of living, much of it outside of its control, like you said, there are international factors, the RBA independent, etc. It will point to cheaper medicines. It will point to energy prices which appear to have crested, childcare, etc. Is that not enough? What else should they be doing? They should be managing the economy. It's simple economics. It really is. If you don't get the fiscal policy right, if you have $45 billion in off-budget spending, you push up inflation and you push up interest rates. And you give no confidence to anyone who seeks to invest that they're actually.
OK, but what about short-term measures? What else could they be doing? Give me an example.
Well, managing the fiscal settings is vital. And I just want to say this, Pete. In 9 years of government, we managed the economy so that interest rates went up once, right at the end of those 9 years. Now, there were peaks and troughs. There was coming and going. There were national and international factors, but we had the fiscal policy settings right. We had the overall policy settings right. This government, you have 9 rate rises out of 9 meetings of the Reserve Bank.
But what else could they be doing?
Contrast the two. They could be managing their spending in a way that doesn't add to the drive upwards that we're seeing of inflation by, for example, $45 billion of off-budget spending. Now, the IMF has already warned that that will push up inflation and that will push up interest rates. So of that $45 billion, we've got a $15 billion National Reconstruction Fund, which is actually not going to help the manufacturers of Australia. It's not going to answer their urgent needs right now for cheaper energy, for skilled labour, for resolution to the supply chain congestion that they face. So what this government is doing is pursuing an agenda that is not related to the real needs of industry.
Right. There's no short-term fix, though, is there? There's no other short-term fix. There's no trigger that can be pulled.
Well, if you've sat on your hands, as this government has since they came into government, now remember, the lineup of promise is broken. This was a Prime Minister who couldn't name the cash rate in April and promised you cheaper mortgages in May. This is a Prime Minister that appears to have given up, that has not taken responsibility and not shown leadership. So I'm sorry, Pete, it is absolutely all on them, and they need to take responsibility first, show leadership, and actually get the fiscal settings right and get spending under control, because what happens, they reach for higher taxes, and that's what we're seeing them doing right now. OK, change of pace. What's love got to do with it, Sussan? Well, plenty it turns out in the name of charity. Yesterday you did your best Tina Turner. What's the reaction been from home? Oh, well, there's been a few trolls, and
Forget the trolls.
I don't mind that at all, because it's in a good cause, and you get them, I get them, we all get them. But this was a cancer fundraiser in Griffith, in my community in the Riverina, and by taking Lena Turner to Parliament House, we actually hit $100,000 of funds raised, which were then matched by another $100,000 from the wonderfully generous family.
So you've got that money?
Help manage this facility. Well, the money will support people in the bush accessing cancer treatment. And we all know cancer's a tough journey wherever you are, but particularly so in regional Australia.
We saw you there on stage. Was that you on stage?
It was me on stage.
What did
yes,
you sing?
Yes. It Takes Two.
Are you okay?
With Rod Stewart, who was Glenn Starr, DJ and entertainer. So yes, everyone on the night sang a duet, and lots of money was raised. And I'm just so pleased, because I'm always blown away by the generosity of regional Australia, but particularly in this community in Griffith, they have said, right, we need to help everyone get the cancer treatment they need, and for it not to cost a fortune, so that everyone has access.
Now, a big shout out to the good people of Griffith, including my brother, who lives there this morning. Thanks for watching. I might have thought, Simply the Best could have been the karaoke option there. Is that not your go-to, Susan?
Oh, look, if anyone else would like to offer another substantial contribution to this fund, Tina could come out of hiding and sing Simply the Best.
Great work. In the name of charity, well done, Sussan Ley. Appreciate it. Thank you. We'll talk to you soon.